The power of walking away is something most people underestimate, yet it holds the potential to change everything. When a man decides to step back and remove his attention, it creates a shift not just in himself, but in how he is perceived by the woman he was once invested in. Many believe that constant effort, chasing, and proving one's worth are the keys to maintaining interest. But the truth is far simpler. Value is recognized in absence. When something or someone is always available, they become predictable, expected, and, over time, taken for granted. But when that presence is suddenly withdrawn, it forces a reassessment. It makes the other person question what they once overlooked. A woman's perception changes when a man she thought she had figured out chooses to walk away. At first it might seem like nothing, perhaps even a relief. But as time goes on, something interesting happens. The attention she once received without effort is no longer there. The validation she might have expected is missing. Suddenly the power dynamic shifts. She begins to wonder why. Why did he leave? Why is he no longer chasing? Why isn't he reacting the way most men do? This is where curiosity is born. And curiosity, when left unanswered, grows into something even stronger: desire. This is where the principles of Stoicism come in. At its core, Stoicism teaches emotional control, detachment, and self-mastery. It's about understanding that external situations, including relationships, do not define your worth. A man who embraces Stoicism does not beg, does not plead, and does not lose himself in the emotions of the moment. He understands that walking away isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about maintaining self-respect. It's about knowing when to remove yourself from a situation that no longer serves you. This is what sets him apart from the rest. While others chase, he remains still. While others seek approval, he is indifferent to it. And while others crumble under emotional pressure, he stands firm in his value. This level of control is powerful because it goes against expectation. Most men react emotionally. They panic, they overthink, they try harder. But the man who walks away without hesitation signals something entirely different. He sends a message without saying a word. I am the prize. And that message changes everything. A woman who once believed she had the upper hand begins to feel a shift in energy. The same attention she once dismissed becomes something she longs for. The same man she once overlooked becomes someone she can't stop thinking about. This isn't magic, it's psychology. People naturally desire what is scarce, and a man who walks away becomes exactly that. So ask yourself, are you the man who clings to what no longer values him? Or are you the man who understands his worth and isn't afraid to step away? If you're ready to embrace the truth, type, "I am the prize," in the comments. Let this be the moment you recognize your value, reclaim your power, and choose self-respect over desperation. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because this is the truth most men need but never hear. But here's where it gets interesting. When a man truly walks away, it does something unexpected. It disrupts the reality she's used to. Women are accustomed to attention, validation, and being pursued. It's a cycle they've seen play out time and time again. No matter how many times they pull away, there's always someone waiting, chasing, trying to prove themselves. It's a pattern so familiar that it's expected. But when you remove yourself from that cycle, when you refuse to play the game, it creates a reaction she never saw coming. At first, she won't acknowledge it. She acts indifferent, as if it doesn't affect her at all. Maybe she even tells herself she doesn't care. After all, men always come back, don't they? That's what she's used to. She's seen it happen before. The ones who try to walk away usually return, seeking another chance, hoping for a different outcome. So, she waits. She convinces herself that you'll do the same, that your silence is temporary, that any moment now, you'll reach out. It's a quiet kind of denial, one she masks with nonchalance. But beneath that surface, a shift is happening. It's slow at first, almost unnoticeable. Yet as time passes and you remain absent, something begins to stir in her mind. This isn't following the script she expected. You were supposed to reach out by now. You were supposed to break first. When that doesn't happen, curiosity creeps in. She starts looking for signs, little things to confirm her assumptions. This is when the testing begins. It starts subtly. A like on your picture, a random hey text that seems casual but isn't. She watches your stories, maybe even replies to one with a simple reaction. These aren't random actions. They're calculated. They're small attempts to see if you'll bite, if you'll react the way she expects. Because the moment you do, the moment you acknowledge it, she wins. It confirms that her control is still there, that she still holds space in your mind. But when that response never comes, when you remain silent, something inside her cracks. This is the moment where her reality truly starts to break. She begins to question. Why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he chasing? Why isn't he doing what every other man before him has done? It's a foreign feeling, an unfamiliar territory she didn't expect to navigate. And the more she questions, the deeper the impact becomes. By doing nothing, you've done everything. You've shifted the dynamic, taken back the power, and placed yourself in a position most men never reach. And without saying a single word, you've forced her to see you differently. The silence stretches on, and what once felt like control begins to slip through her fingers. At first, she believed you would return like all the others, but as the days pass and you remain distant, something shifts inside her. Doubt starts creeping in, quietly at first, but it grows louder with every unanswered message, every story she watches without a reaction, every post she likes that goes ignored. She never expected this. She never thought she would be the one left wondering. And that's when the questions start. Why isn't he chasing? Why is he different? Did I misjudge him? The same confidence that made her feel untouchable is now working against her. She was so sure of her effect, so used to men folding under her slightest attention, that your absence feels unnatural. It's something she can't fully process, and that confusion turns inward. She begins searching for answers, but the more she looks, the less she finds. She starts spending extra time in the mirror, examining every detail of herself. Did I lose my appeal? Is there something wrong with me? Thoughts she never entertained before now take root. She replays past conversations, looking for signs she might have missed. Maybe she even changes the way she dresses, posts more, tries harder to be noticed. But none of it brings the reaction she expected. You're still silent, still unbothered, and that silence becomes deafening. This is where the internal conflict begins. On one side, there's her ego, the part of her that refuses to accept this, the part that believes she's the prize, that men don't just walk away from her. But on the other side is the reality she never faced before. A man who doesn't need her validation, a man who let go. This is something most women aren't prepared for. They've been conditioned to believe that attention is guaranteed, that their presence alone is enough to keep a man invested. So when a man removes himself entirely, when he truly lets go, it disrupts everything she thought she understood. And it doesn't stop there. Her search for validation intensifies. She checks your profile more often than she'd ever admit, scrolling through old conversations, looking at your new posts, trying to see if you've moved on. She wonders if there's another woman, if someone else has taken the attention she once had. The comparison game begins. She stalks the pages of women who might be connected to you, searching for clues, trying to convince herself that she still has the upper hand. But deep down, she knows she doesn't. That's the hardest part. She thought she was the one in control, but now she feels powerless. And no matter how much she tries to shake it off, she can't ignore the truth. She is no longer the center of your world. The same man who once gave her attention freely has now become a mystery, something she can't figure out, someone she can't predict. And for the first time in a long time, she's the one left wanting more. The battle inside her is only getting worse. She told herself she wouldn't care, that she could move on easily, that your silence was just a game she refused to play. But the more she tries to convince herself, the harder it becomes to ignore what's really happening. She is starting to feel something she hasn't felt in a long time. Jealousy. At first, she brushes it off. He's just doing this for attention. He'll crack soon. But the days keep passing, and you're still nowhere to be found. You're not watching her stories. You're not reacting to her posts. You're not slipping back into her world the way she expected. And now, a new thought creeps in, one she can't ignore. Did he find someone else? That's when the spiral begins. She starts overanalyzing everything. If you post something, she dissects every detail. Who liked it? Who commented? What song you used? What your caption really means. She starts comparing herself to the women who might be in your life now, wondering if they have something she doesn't. The idea of you moving on, of you being happy without her, suddenly feels unbearable. Desperation takes over, but she doesn't recognize it as that. To her, it feels like taking control back. She starts posting pictures where she looks happier than ever, laughing with friends, wearing her best outfits, making sure the world sees her as completely unbothered. But deep down, it's not happiness. It's a strategy, a test. She needs to see if you'll react. She wants proof that she still has power over you. And when that doesn't work, she escalates. Maybe she starts flirting more openly, commenting on other guys' posts, making sure you see her value through the eyes of others. She wants you to feel what she's feeling, to make you question if you've lost her. But no matter how much she tries to paint this picture of confidence, she can't escape the truth she feels in quiet moments. She isn't moving on. She's holding on harder than ever. That's when rationalization kicks in. He was too obsessed with me. He cared more than I did. I never even really liked him like that. She tells herself these things over and over, trying to reframe the past, twisting reality to make herself feel in control again. But no matter how much she lies to herself, there's one truth she can't escape. If she truly never cared, why is she thinking about you this much? Why does she keep checking your profile? Why does it bother her so much that you haven't come back? Because deep down, she knows what's happening. She's losing control, and it's a feeling she never expected. The same power she once had over you is slipping away, and for the first time, she's the one feeling powerless. The emotional turmoil becomes too much, and instead of facing it, she looks for a quick escape. She convinces herself she's already over you, that she never truly cared, and the best way to prove it, jump into something new. But this isn't about love. It's not about finding someone better. It's about silencing the nagging feeling inside her, the one that keeps reminding her of the control she lost. So she picks someone easy, someone eager, someone weak, a man who showers her with attention, who makes her feel special, who reassures her that she's still desirable. He worships her, hangs on her every word, and in the beginning it feels good. His constant validation soothes the sting of losing yours. She posts pictures with him, lets the world know she's moved on. But the truth, she's not moving forward, she's running away. Deep down, she doesn't respect him. She knows he's not like you. He doesn't challenge her. He doesn't make her think. He doesn't hold the same mystery that made you so different. He's just there, filling the void, keeping her distracted. And that's why it never lasts. Because the moment the excitement wears off, the moment his presence becomes predictable, she starts to pull away. She gets bored. And when women get bored, they start looking elsewhere. She begins texting other men, keeping her options open, testing the waters. She convinces herself it's harmless, but deep down, she knows what she's doing. She's searching for something she lost. The thrill, the challenge, the feeling of wanting someone who isn't so easy to have. And then, it finally hits her. She downgraded. The man she chose was never a replacement for you. He was just a distraction. And now as she looks at him, she realizes the painful truth. She traded something rare for something ordinary. At first she convinced herself she had made the right choice. She thought she had moved on, that she had found someone better, that life without you would be easier. But slowly, reality starts sinking in. The excitement of the rebound fades. The constant validation from other men feels empty. The thrill of the chase is gone. And then she realizes she didn't upgrade. She settled. She thought the grass was greener, but now she sees the truth. She wasn't standing in a field of endless possibilities. She was standing in a desert. No matter how much attention she gets, it never feels the same. Because you weren't like the others. You didn't beg. You didn't chase. You didn't fall into the same predictable patterns. You were the challenge, the man who made her feel like she had something to prove. And now she understands. She didn't lose just another guy. She lost you. Regret creeps in, slow at first, then all at once. She replays the past in her mind, questioning every decision. Why did I let him go? Why didn't I see what I had? She wonders if you ever think about her, if you still check her profile, if maybe, just maybe, you still care. But the reality? You've already moved on. While she was busy running from her feelings, you were evolving. While she was chasing distractions, you were leveling up. And now, you're untouchable. That's when the shift happens. The moment she realizes she can't have you. She wants you more than ever. The power dynamic has flipped. You were once the one giving her attention, but now, she's the one chasing. She tries to reach out, maybe a casual text, a sudden like on an old post, a comment meant to grab your attention, anything to see if you'll respond, if you'll slip back into her world. But you don't, because you've won. You didn't just walk away, you became someone she can't ignore. And now, she's the one left wondering what if. And this is where everything changes. The ultimate power a man can have is the ability to walk away and never look back. Not as a game, not as a trick, but as a way of life. When you truly let go, when you refuse to be controlled by emotions or desperation, you become the man she can't forget. Because the truth is, women respect men they cannot control. They might not say it, they might not admit it, but deep down, they crave the challenge of a man who knows his worth, one who refuses to settle for less than he deserves. Most men spend their lives chasing, begging for attention, trying to prove their value. But the ones who win, they don't play that game. They don't beg. They don't chase. They simply are. And that presence, that mindset, is what sets them apart. When you master this, you will never lose again, because you will no longer be at the mercy of anyone else's validation. You will be in control, not just of your relationships, but of your entire life. So if you've made it this far, drop a comment below. I am unstoppable. Let it be a reminder to yourself and to everyone watching. This is the truth most men never hear. This is the lesson most never learn. But the ones who do, they change everything. And if you're ready to step into that power, subscribe, share this message, and make sure more men hear what they need to hear. Because the ones who understand this will never be the same again.